Now, it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes to do a preliminary check-in, but if it takes a little longer, that's okay too. It's more important that you be client-centered. That is what's going to get you your best results. Just don't turn it into chit-chat. Your check-in is a preliminary uncovering strategy that's meant to answer two important questions. You want to know what happened in the last session and what happened between sessions. That's it. The first question is, what do you remember about the last session? And the purpose for asking this question is to pick up where you left off in the previous session. You want to do a little rewind. So you can just ask the client to do just that. Ask them to mentally do a little rewind, go back to the last session, and then ask them to tell you, what do you remember about that session? Now, this will help to refresh your memory, but more importantly, what the client remembers or fails to remember about that session can be very revealing. Hypnotherapy is a journey of self-discovery and self-healing, and often what you'll find is that the client will share more about their first session than they did the first time. The client may have had some realizations after they left the session, and giving the client a few moments to share in retrospect can result in more insights being brought to light. Now, insight is a precursor to understanding, which is the conscious mind making sense of things, and that includes why the client is taking this journey with you. The second question is, tell me what happened between sessions. This is because hypnotherapy naturally stirs things up at a subconscious level of mind. So following a session, the subconscious mind is going to go to work. It's going to be sorting through things, and it's going to be finding ways to integrate changes that occurred in the session, and this can bubble up to the surface. The client may remember things that they haven't thought about in years. They may have interesting dreams. And emotions can start bubbling up to the surface, sometimes unexpectedly. That's the subconscious mind speaking. And it knows why the client is seeing you, so these things are all relevant to the client's issue. And during the check-in, these are the things you want to make note of. So what can happen is, maybe they felt great following the session, but it only lasted for a couple of days. Maybe they lost the better feeling. Maybe something happened to trigger them. If the client felt better following a session, but they weren't able to hold on to the change, or they got triggered, now you know what the next step needs to be. The next step in the healing process needs to be addressing those feelings, because you're dealing with an emotional issue. So suggestion alone isn't going to get the job done. There's an underlying emotional issue that keeps reinstalling itself, and that's what's calling for resolution. So the next step is to find out where that feeling is coming from. Maybe they slept really well for the first time in ages. You'll get this a lot. If so, this is really good news, because many people are sleep deprived, and just improving a person's sleep can make a big difference in how they think and how they feel and how they behave in daily life. A person who isn't getting enough sleep can't think clearly. That's why sleep deprivation is the leading cause of motor vehicle and job-related accidents. It impairs a person's cognitive abilities, and this can impact your results. Regression hypnosis is a process of revisiting and re-evaluating past events. And sleep deprivation can block your client's ability to think clearly enough to evaluate what was revealed to them during a session, and that can block change from occurring. It takes consciousness to change consciousness. So the client needs to see for themselves how experiences in the past have been creating their future for them. That's when they can decide to allow change. You can't just tell them. They have to decide. And to do that, they need to be able to think clearly. Helping your clients to sleep better can help clear the mental fog, and this will give you a better client to work with. When we sleep, the conscious mind goes into abeyance, and the subconscious mind goes to work on emotional healing and memory reconsolidation. So There's learning taking place, and this is a process that will support the client in healing. So that's it. The client's first session is naturally going to stir things up. So something is going to happen between sessions. You just need to find out what. Hindsight is 20/20. So use your pre-hypnosis check-in to ask the client what happened during the last session, and then find out what happened between sessions. This will tell you how best to proceed in this session. You'll know what the next step needs to be in the client's process, and that's all you ever need to know. What's the next step?